Proudly presented by Pence Homes and part of the Hitting the Hardwood podcast network. This is Lynx Happy Hour. Yo, what is up? And welcome, Lynx fans, to another episode of Lynx Happy Hour, the podcast where Lynx basketball is always on special. I've got a jam-packed show for you all today, so we're going to get into it real quick. Very excited to welcome another Lynx Hall of Famer to the show. This time it's Sylvia Fowles. Syl was kind enough to join me for a little bit of time yesterday on Wednesday morning to talk about all manner of fun things. I followed up with some of the details that Simone Augustus shared with us a couple weeks ago on the very infamous flight from LA to Minneapolis during the 2017 finals between the Lynx and the Sparks. I get Syl's take on that, of course, and talk about a bunch of other stuff with her as well. She will be in Minneapolis this weekend for Pride. We'll be participating in the Pride Parade and the festivities and at the Lynx game on Sunday against Connecticut. So be sure to go find Syl, say hi to her, and remind her that she is just the best human on the planet, in addition to one of the best basketball players on the planet. Always incredible to talk to Syl. Shout out to Danielle Lund from the Lynx communications department for the assist there. And also, I'm joined by the great Sabreena Merchant from The Athletic. You've likely read her stuff, and if you have not, you should listen to the No Offseason podcast. Sabreena is a fellow Commissioner's Cup enthusiast, as I am. So we hype up the Commissioner's Cup final, which is coming up fast and fierce here on July 1st against the Indiana Fever at Target Center, and talk about the Lynx occupying her top spot in the Sabreena scale. A bit of context: Sabreena and I talked late afternoon on Tuesday, just a few hours before the Lynx fell to the Washington Mystics on the road. So we can blame the Sabreena scale for jinxing the Lynx there. I may have played a part in the jinx too. The other kind of big news that came out after Sabreena and I's conversation was Indiana Fever placing DeWanna Bonner on waivers, which is surprising or not surprising, depending on how much attention you've paid or tea leaves you've read. But we talk about the Fever without the knowledge of the impending release of DeWanna Bonner. So you may hear a couple of mentions I can't totally remember, but it's like, oh yeah, the Fever, we'll see if they have DeWanna Bonner back for the finals. They will not have DeWanna Bonner because they do not employ her anymore. And as of this recording, it is 10:23 a.m. on Thursday, June 26th. There has been no adjacent news to DeWanna Bonner leaving the Fever. The sort of leading bet for her is to end up in Phoenix, who does have the cap space for her. Probably more important than that, her fiance Alyssa Thomas plays in Phoenix. So there's a lot of reasons why Bonner to Phoenix is kind of the expectation. But we'll see. That should be out just a few hours after I am done talking here. But there, in case it's Thursday afternoon and DeWanna Bonner signs somewhere, or the Lynx make some shell-shocking move, that's why I'm not talking about it, because it hasn't happened, and maybe it will never happen, and that I really can't talk about it. So yeah, we'll get just right into the show. First, Sylvia Fowles, followed by Sabreena Merchant. All kinds of great stuff. Thank you guys again so much for being here and for listening to the show and spending time with me. Great. I'm honored you choose to start your weekends with this show. And after this road trip, we got a tough game in Atlanta on Friday, and then we'll be back at Target Center. Feels like it's whenever you have those home stands and then there's 11 days in between home games, it feels kind of crazy. It feels like it's been a million years and also 5 minutes at the same time. But we'll be back in the saddle in Target Center Sunday, June 29th, the same day as the Pride Parade. So go to the parade, have fun in the sun, and then come cool off in Target Center. Random thought: it is always freezing where they have media sit in Target Center. And I don't know if they're doing that on purpose to us because we deserve it, of course. But if you go to a lot of Lynx games, I want to hear from you. Hit me up on either Blue Sky or whatever. You can hit me up on Twitter. I probably won't see it for a while. Sorry, but I'll see it eventually. How cold is it where your seats are in Target Center? Because I have not been to sit in the normal stands at a Lynx game in a few years now, and I don't remember it being that cold. Whenever I go to Timberwolves games, I don't notice it, but the press area, there's like a vent pointed right at us. But anyway, you did not come here to listen to me talk about the struggles of being in the media. You came here to listen to Sylvia Fowles. So let's get to that conversation right now. This episode of Lynx Happy Hour is brought to you by Pence Homes. The team at Pence Homes has experience working with first-time home buyers, folks selling their first home and buying their next place, to people looking to downsize. With the best tools, technology, and trusted vendors to help with any home project, Pence Homes is a top choice for buyers and sellers. For more info and to set up a time to meet with Nate and the team to talk about your home buying or selling needs, visit PenceHomes.com. That is Pence, PentzHomes.com. Lynx fans, we are blessed to be joined by Lynx royalty here again on this episode of Lynx Happy Hour, where Lynx basketball is always on special. Joining me right now, kind enough to take some time with me this Wednesday morning, is the great Sylvia Fowles. Sil, how are you doing this morning?
I really can't complain. Happy to be on with you all. So thank you for having me.
For sure. Thank you so much for being here. We got the chance to chat with your longtime teammate, Simone Augustus, a couple of weeks ago ahead of her Hall of Fame celebration in Minneapolis, which we know you would have been at had it not been for you being inducted into the Women's Basketball Hall of Fame at the same time. So before we get into anything else, how is that induction ceremony, and what did that honor mean to you?
Um, it's a full circle moment, I must say. I know I did a interview previous where it still feels weird to say that I'm a Hall of Famer. But with that said, like I do acknowledge and appreciate like the love and the support because I did put in the time to get to this point. But never in a million years I would have thought that I would be seeing myself as a Hall of Famer. So this is a complete moment of the things that I sacrificed and worked hard at it. So I'm happy to be amongst some of the best legends.
Definitely. And it's not even the only Hall of Fame weekend for you this year, getting inducted into the Naismith Memorial Hall of Fame later this year. As part of the same class as
I know, right?
Maya Moore. So just for those of us who won't sniff a Hall of Fame, you kind of just touched on this, but does it really hit you that this is happening or happened? And how cool is it that you get to do this Naismith Hall of Fame stuff with Maya?
Um, a good question. So to be able to go in with Maya and Sue as well, I think for women's sports in general, because we all have a different time zone, it just gives a snippet of a picture that how great basketball is. Sue was my mentor. I was before Maya. So to get three generations going in at one time is a blessing in disguise, but also it says a lot about women's sports and where we are right now, which is a great thing to see. I think we're taking steps in the right direction, and I'm just excited. Not too many women get the opportunity to go into the Naismith Hall of Fame, so to have three of them going at the same time, that was in three different classes, I think is pretty freaking amazing.
It is. It is freaking amazing. That'll be a can't miss weekend in Springfield for sure. I don't want to put you on the spot here with anything, but I do need to follow up on something Simone mentioned, or
Uh-oh.
my listeners will kill me.
Uh-oh.
Well, we've a big talking point of this last few seasons is the
Mm-hmm.
players in the WNBA have finally been getting what they've deserved all along in, reliable travel through charter flights,
Mm-hmm.
and being set up for success in those ways. But Simone seemed to have a fun time recalling a flight back to Minneapolis during the 2017 finals in which the Sparks were on the same
With
flight.
LA.
And she mentioned you and like Candace Parker kind of, jockeying for leg room and stuff in the exit row. Is the memory of hers accurate? And just what do you recall from that
Um,
flight with your longtime rival during the finals?
yeah, it was crazy because, they didn't expect us to be going back home. But
Right.
I was fine personally. I was sitting between her and Sandrine Gruda at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just happy go lucky. I really didn't care who I was sitting next to, but apparently it was a little bit of friction because they had been lost. And so, yeah, I was being petty old Sil. She tried to make leg room, and I opened my legs like extra wide so she don't have leg room. But it was a good time. So it's a great thing to see that the girls are finally starting to charter, but nobody should have to deal with those things. But I made
Right.
the best of it while we had it.
Yeah. No one should, but I would watch a full 30 for 30 series about just that flight and the different pockets of like where people were sitting and like who they
The
were,
crazy part is too, like speaking on that, I think she actually got up and moved seats with somebody, which made it extra funny. But
yeah, that's just a level of shit talk you can hang on to for forever.
I was
But
being all gully. We wasn't on the court anymore. We wasn't in between four lines, so it didn't matter to me. Good
right.
morning, hey, how you doing? Welcome back to Minnesota.
For sure. That's a great perspective. I imagine your travel here this weekend will be less eventful than that. We can only hope. And just on that, you'll be back here to participate in Twin Cities Pride once again, one of the biggest Pride celebrations in the country. Being part of the parade, and there's of course a Lynx game that same day. Just what are you most
Mm-hmm.
excited about to be back in Minneapolis, back for such an important celebration to so many people, and just be among the community and the fans again?
I mean, I think that's what it is, the community and fans. And I think it's only right to be back at that point in time. I haven't gotten back at the beginning of the season, which is kind of odd for me. But as I said, I've been ripping and running. But it just means more than pride. It is about community. It's about family. And since I've been in Minnesota, everyone has welcomed me with open arms. And so to have this be an opening for me to come back and just be part of this, I feel honored.
Mhm. Yeah, we got the chance to talk to a number of Lynx alumni who were here
Mm-hmm.
for Simone's game last week. I think Tamika Williams was back for the first time since,
Mm-hmm.
I believe, '08. She mentioned, and Simone hit on this point as well, that it means a lot, especially as a former player, to know that that invite is always open, and to have been
Mm-hmm.
part of an organization that like values this. So even though you haven't even been gone for too long, but how
I
meaningful is
know.
it as a player after to know after retirement that like it really is Links for life, and that's not like a slogan, that's actually put into practice?
Yeah, I think it started from the head. We had a good guy in place, Glenn Teller,
Mhm.
who had standards and he stood by us no matter what. And he just had this unbelievable faith in women in
Mhm.
sports. And so I think you've seen that just trickle down a little bit. And a lot of teams talk a good game about how open they are and how they want their players to come back. But I never seen a team in an organization that does it the way the Minnesota Lynx does. Like they genuinely want you back. Um, I even have access to the facilities. Like I come back and I can work out on my own time. And you just don't get that across the board when people
Mhm.
really say that they mess with you and that they're here for you. I think Minnesota is the definition of that. So yeah, I can come back anytime and still be treated as I'm a formal player, and that's something that you always look forward to, or always want when you sacrifice so much to be within the organization.
For sure. Yeah, I feel like you retired and then we saw you at like eight different things so over the
You
course of
can't get rid
yeah.
of me.
Right. And when most people retire, it's not like they're just showing up at their job constantly again. So I think that really that shows just how
Yeah, it speaks a
important
lot
that
to
is.
what
Yeah.
they done and how they made me feel. it's certain places I won't dare step foot back into the place, but I appreciate my time there. But Minnesota is home for me. And so to know that I can have open access and walking into open arms at any point in time, that's something that I look forward to when the time comes.
Definitely. Yeah, I think that's great for everyone to hear. You did say you've been, keeping busy and ripping and running. But have you been able to have time to watch this year's team currently sitting at
Of
12 and
course.
2 atop the league? And just what have your impressions of the 2025 Lynx been so far?
First of all, Cheryl probably tired of me. Because I mean, before training camp even started and she was making moves, I give my little 2 cents on like, what was your idea behind this? So what we bringing them in to do? I'm acting like I'm still part of the team, like this impacts me,
Hmm.
and she kept it nice and cordial, and she always responded back in a timely fashion, and she'll give me her ideas of what this person for and how can they fit in at the team. I mean, with the team. And every game day, I text her, tell her good luck after every game.
Hmm.
I text her, great job. Get the next one if they lose. And so the communication is open. But yes, I do. I'm doing a better job at making sure I catch all their games streaming
Hmm.
because I haven't been doing a good job at physically being there in person. But I don't know. I tell people this all the time. People think Minnesota is always in a rebuilding phase because they feel like we don't have the pieces. But one thing they fail to realize is that Sherry is a really good damn coach and she knows what she's doing. And when you just have players who understand a system and that system is a winning system, it's easy to just put the people in place. And I think that's what the rest of the league is now seeing, that it don't matter who's on her team, but if they believe in what she's doing within her system, they're gonna win. And that's exactly what's been happening. So I'm very thrilled.
Yeah, I mean,
Call me biased, but Minnesota is the best team in the league, and I'm looking forward to see how far they can go.
well, all the numbers support that claim as well. So I don't know if you'll get too much pushback on that.
Okay,
But
good.
in terms of, yeah, I can't believe that anyone can doubt, 4 rings, 4-time coach of the year, and almost the most wins than anyone else in league history. But yeah, Coach Reeves does seem to still have some doubters, but maybe another ring will
I
silence
mean, I,
them.
I mean, I don't even think that. I think when you just so rich in culture and rich in winning, you're just gonna always have haters, and that's something that we used to in Minnesota is just haters. But I don't even think a ring will solve that because they'll still be
Right.
talking trash. But I'm here for a ring.
Yeah. I mean, if it's not one thing, it's something else, of course. Um, are you the only former player who texts Cheryl before and after every game? I feel like
I
that's
don't
kind of
know.
special.
I don't know if I'm the only player. We had something really good when I was there, when before every practice and after every practice, I used to go in her office and disturb her meetings before practice and after practice. I made sure we ended on a hug or a handshake. And so that's something that I took pride in when I was playing. So I needed to figure out a way, how can I still do that without physically being there? And text messages is that for me.
Mhm. That's so nice. Yeah, I love hearing stuff like that. During your last few seasons here, you got to play with the current uh, MVP frontrunner, who we
Oh
might
yeah, she's
rename
definitely
the
gonna be
award
MVP. I'm putting it out there.
for sure. And you're not the only one. We might have to rename the award MVP after this.
I know.
We talked to Simone was here during Collier's rookie season, so a lot
Hmm.
of the questions Simone got while she was in town was about just what she saw from Fee in that first season. You got a few more seasons with her and got to play
Yeah.
with her in the bubble. Just was it apparent from the jump that she was destined to be this great? And kind of what do you remember particularly from those early seasons with
Yeah.
Fee?
It was always a no-brainer. And the no-brainer came from just how she didn't complain. You can always tell a good player from an elite player with how they approach things. And practices can sometimes get intense, and Fee never like budged. And that's how I knew she was gonna be special, because one, she's coachable, but two, she's a freaking beast. Like
Mhm.
it's nothing that she really can't do. And if she can't do it, she gonna figure it out. And so that's something that I I've learned about her early on as a
Mhm.
rookie, but also just having the chance to play with her during a healthy season. Like
Mhm.
some of the things that she did that I wasn't willing to do at my age, or probably not even in my younger years. You just knew that she was going to be that elite player. So I'm not surprised, but I am happy to see it come full circle for her. And I feel like it's coming at the right moment. And I just want her to have everything that she prayed for and hoped for. And I want to
Mhm.
see all those things come to light for her.
For sure. And I think the year after your retirement, it was kind of
Mm-hmm.
like, okay, there's a not it's not a rebuilding era, but it is a bit of a new era, and we're
Mm-hmm.
rebuilding or we're building this team fully around Fee, which had
Mm-hmm.
not been the case during the previous years.
Mm-hmm.
And the playoffs in that first season,
Yep.
finals in the second, and now
Right.
MVP frontrunner in the third. Is any part of you surprised that it happened? Like there wasn't even like a lull in the middle there. It just happened. That like accelerated timeline that does is that just kind of who she is as a player?
Uh, if I'm being quite frank, I felt like it should have happened last year.
Right.
Um, she had a hell of a season last year. I think she did all the right things that she was doing. I really don't think she's doing anything different this year that she did from last year, besides people just now taking notice and the hype around it. But I'm not surprised to see her back in this place because if I was her, or if knowing Fee and knowing how hungry she is and how hard she worked last year and didn't get it,
Hmm.
she probably felt like she got snubbed. She probably wouldn't say that out loud, but knowing Fee, she probably felt like she got snubbed. And so it's only right for her to come back out this season and show people like I'm really not doing anything different, but y'all gonna take notice to what I'm doing. And that's one thing that I love about Fee. She's not taking no for an answer. And I don't know if the mummy in her gives it a little bit more edge, or it just
Hmm.
comes with like advancing as a vet. But she's always been that and more.
Yeah, it's great to hear that from the people who have gotten to play with her. The story is Cheryl shares from her rookie year. It's just a
Yeah, she
player.
works hard, man. She works harder than everybody in the gym.
Mhm.
She works hard.
Well, the fruit of that labor, I think, is now undeniable. Like you said, there'll always be haters, but I think anyone with a brain cell at least can see what that's turned into. Well, Sil, thank you so much for joining me today. Real quick, when back in Minneapolis, is there any kind of like food spot you need to hit? Is there any kind of go to favorite that you have to do while you're in Minneapolis before you leave?
Food spots, let me tell you, I just eat everything. I really don't have food. If you got good food, I'm eating it.
Hmm.
So I can't even be picky about food, but one of my go-tos definitely hang out with Oliver.
Yep.
That's my guy. So
Hmm.
find some time for Oliver and then use the facilities. I told you I come back there like I'm a
Right.
player. I go in there, get in the steam room, get in cold tub,
Hmm.
lift weights. And so that's something that I take pride in, just making sure I have time to appreciate the things that's still available to me and and take full advantage of them.
Well, I asked Natisha Heidemann earlier this year, just kind of a couple like culture questions and just, in terms of the facilities and being set up for success and things like that. And she gushed about the food at the facility a
Oh
lot, in
yes.
terms of breakfast,
And
lunch.
even that too,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
when I'm back in town, I do pop in there and be like, I know I'm not on the roster, but can I can I have some breakfast wings? And
Right,
they do. They make you breakfast. So it feels good to go back and feel loved.
right.
That's what I would say. So yeah, I'm looking to take advantage of the facilities. That's
Yeah.
what I'm looking forward to.
The chefs at the courts at Mayo Clinic Square, the legend around their ability is building. So we might need to have a media meal day or
That's
something.
what I'm
I'll
saying.
I'll
Y'all got
throw
to be
that
part
idea
of
to
that too
Cheryl.
because y'all missing out. The food is scrumptious.
For sure. And I'm the same way. Put anything in front of me and I'm devouring it. So,
Yes, that's basically
um,
what it is.
Sylvia Fowles, we're so excited to have you in town this weekend to be part of the parade, and we'll catch you at the game. Thanks so much for taking some time today.
Thank you for having me.
Very excited about my next guest here on Lynx Happy Hour, making her debut on the show, but it will not be the last time. I'll see to that. She's a staff writer, women's basketball staff writer at The Athletic. You've heard her on the No Offseason podcast, the pride of Duke University, Sabreena Merchant. Sabreena, thank you so much for taking some time with me today.
I'm not sure Duke would describe me that way, but I appreciate
They
the
should.
moniker nonetheless.
They absolutely should. Thank you again for being here. Prerequisite disclaimer to the listeners. We are talking on Tuesday afternoon at about 4 p.m. Central Time. This will come out on Thursday. Sabreena, I don't know if I mentioned that to you, but so we are talking before a Lynx and Mystics game that will be played without Napheesa Collier. And listener, you're listening to this afterwards. So if we say anything like, oh, the Lynx just can't seem to lose without Fee, it's not my fault. I didn't jinx it.
Technically, that is currently true.
Technically, it's currently true. And can you make a case for Napheesa Collier as MVP if her team is undefeated without her? People are saying.
I know, they're not even undefeated with her. Like, that's a crazy thing.
You know what? All right, Caitlin Clark's MVP. They won. The discourse won. No, please don't cancel me, Lynx fans. We are here today to talk about the Commissioner's Cup final coming up, as Sabreena is also a Commissioner's Cup enthusiast. I am one as well. But I thought it'd be fun to talk about some more recent things first, as the Lynx, of course, want to defend their Commissioner's Cup title for the money, for the pride, for the distinction of being the first team ever to do it. But they've already taken a very coveted bragging right from early in the season, and that's being at the top of the Sabreena scale, which they are this week in your latest piece on The Athletic. So Sabreena, the Lynx #1 on the Sabreena scale. What have you liked from what you've seen from them this year, besides all the winning, which kind of goes without saying?
I mean, I think a better question is like, what have I not liked? Because everything looks pretty smooth, especially since K-Mac came back. I mean,
Yeah.
To me, I would prefer if the Lynx weren't playing their starters 30 minutes in a deep blowout of the Los Angeles Sparks. That's the first one, not the one that just happened this past week. All the games sort of blend together. But that's about my only complaint. I think shooting looks good. Fee obviously looks incredible. Courtney's been playing really well. K-Mac finally broke out of that little mini slump against Sparks this past weekend. Alana Smith, like, maybe I'd like her to be scoring a little bit more, but defensively can't really ask for anything beyond what she's been providing. I would have hoped that Carly Samuelson would be hitting a few more shots, but that's okay. It's a long season. Like, these things go up and down. I like that Diamond Miller has had a chance to get into the rotation. I think that's really the major tangential benefit of Fee being out for a couple of games. It just allows her to develop more of a rhythm. She's not a traditional bench player where you can just put her in for a couple minutes and expect her to just pop off immediately. She kind of needs to get a feel for things. So I like these opportunities for her to just stretch herself a little. I thought the way she played in that game against the Aces last week was really instructive. Just getting comfortable, things start to flow with just a little bit more time onto the court. So, and then just personally, as someone who is based in Los Angeles and watches a lot of the Los Angeles Sparks, I was a huge Maria Klinikova fan, her first stint in Los Angeles in the WNBA. And when they brought her out for training camp, I could not have been more excited. And I figured they're not going to bring somebody out from Russia for training camp and then cut her. That's insane. And lo and behold, they did. And now she's on the Lynx. And a pretty solid backup center option in these Jessica Shepard-less times, which will be ending soon. But just a good, solid, deep team with lots of ways to play, and with the best player in the league. I don't really know what else to get into here. It's a good system.
Yeah. We can just call it a podcast.
And maybe the best coach in the league too. So
yeah,
it all works.
It doesn't seem fair, really. And in Minneapolis in the summertime too, we're the one city in the country right now without a heat wave. Although you said it was nice in Southern California right now.
So. It is very nice in Southern California. Okay. I feel so bad. We have these weekly meetings, with the rest of my staff around the country, and people in New York are just complaining, and it's I don't really know how to enter this conversation, guys.
Yeah. The Lynx are in DC right now, and I just saw from my Mystics colleague Jen Hatfield that it's 100 degrees on the platform waiting for the metro to get to the game. So happy to be watching it from the air conditioned of my own home for this one. How did that feel for Sparks fans watching Masha just mosh on the Sparks to the tune of a plus 25 in a game that was tied early in the fourth quarter?
Right. Well, the Lynx have a habit of doing this, right? They sort of lull you into this false sense of security, right? And then they have the best fourth quarter net rating in the WNBA. Again,
Mhm.
as of Tuesday, perhaps it's changed, but I doubt it considering the enormous gap they have on second
Yeah,
place.
probably not.
Probably not. Uh, yeah, I don't know that a lot of Sparks fans are terribly familiar with the, then Vadiva era in Los Angeles. She only
Mhm.
played here for a couple seasons. They were heavily interrupted by European obligations and just visa issues the first season. So she wasn't exactly like number one on the scouting report at any time. Uh, but yeah, for me personally, it sucked. I'll give you that. It
Right.
really sucked.
Yeah. Listen, I didn't want to out Sabreena right away, but she is wearing a very tasteful Los Angeles Sparks shirt as we record this. But even just the history aside, too, just cutting a player in training camp, which like this happens in this league. It's why we've been, advocating for more teams and bigger rosters. And I hope a bigger roster is part of the new CBA.
Absolutely.
But you absolutely can cut someone in training camp and have them catch on somewhere else and just come back to bite you.
Yeah.
So
Happened to the Sparks last season too with Monique Billings, a cut that I was
right.
way less upset about because Monique Billings was cut so that there was time for like Cameron Brink and Rakia Jackson and, Tierra Hamby to get minutes. And this year they cut Masha to keep Mercedes Russell and Emma Cannon. And I have different feelings about those decisions.
And they also played in that game on Saturday, but
did they
played less well, I'd say, to be polite.
To be polite.
But yeah, so Maria's fitting in just swimmingly in the Twin Cities right now. So that should make everyone happy for her. So also in your latest piece, and I saw there's some conversation on this on Blue Sky as well, but I think we are in the middle of a pretty fascinating race for Coach of the Year, which you'll be voting on. This is actually my first year as a voter, and I'm already, thank you so much. I'm excited, but I'm already stressed out about,
oh my God, it is stressful.
about not just Coach of the Year, but Coach of the Year in particular, because I was just looking, I was like, oh, like we're just past the quarter of the season. This is kind of when we check in on these things. And I'm like, oh, I mean, it's obviously Carl Smesko. And then I was like, wait, Natalie Nakase. And then I was like, wait, look at Nate Tibbetts down here getting this team playing ball. And then I was also kind of like, well, if Coach Reeve was listening to me say, but wait, all these coaches, and I haven't mentioned her yet.
Right.
And I think you make a great point in your piece that a Coach of the Year, I think in every sport, it doesn't necessarily award sustained excellence unless there's doubt. That's kind of like, I think, a part of the discourse that the Lynx were going to be bad heading into the season. With, I think it was at least one, maybe two outlets ranking them number 9 in the preseason
not
power
me,
rankings.
I'll say that.
Not you, definitely not me. But still, I think that helped because it's like, oh, we thought you were going to be bad. You weren't bad. We're wrong. We're naming you Coach of the Year.
Right.
And no one made that mistake with the Lynx this year. And everyone thought the Valkyries were going to be not just bad, but like bad.
Right.
And they're like good? Yeah. Question mark? Like not just like expansion, good, but they're like, good. Yeah. They're beating the Fever. They're beating the Aces. They don't care about your darlings. Brandon Pachemsky is talking shit courtside and wearing purple and black. It's just a great atmosphere out there. So it's got to be Natalie, right? But so like I think the question is, how many wins does Coach Reeve need to hang on to this award? Because the Lynx right now are on pace to go like 40-4. And no matter how nice of a story it is anywhere else, breaking the previous winning percentage record in a season where they're playing more games than ever before is kind of like, I don't care about your nice expansion stories. I don't care about your rebuild, retooling the culture. Is 40 kind of the number that Cheryl needs to hit? I know she doesn't care about this at all, but we do as pundits and fans. So like, how does Cheryl hang on to this award from all these upstarts who've got these teams turned around on both coasts?
So I would hope that breaking the win percentage record would be enough. I'm thinking back to like 2023 when I was one of 3 people who voted for Becky Hammon for Coach of the Year. Because I guess nobody thought that like leading the Aces to the most wins in WNBA history, not the percentage record, okay, but a historically dominant team.
Yeah.
That I thought was a more impressive coaching job than, the eventual winner, which is Stephanie White that season. So I think I'm the wrong person you need to convince here. I like excellence. I like dominance. I like Goliaths. I think taking expectations and actually running with them is, I think, harder than people give credit for, right? Like having that target on your back, playing kind of the same style you did last year, having everyone around the league with like one more year of scouting on you and like knowing what to expect. That to me is still a challenge in and of itself. Even if you have talent, like maintaining a standard is a challenging thing. So uh, if the Lynx were to break the wins record, like I think Cheryl is a no-brainer case. I would hope that's the case. I think even like 37, 38 should put her like really atop that conversation. But then it's also like, if Napheesa ends up winning MVP, then is it okay that you didn't give the credit to Cheryl Reeve? Like, so you just assign the Lynx credit somewhere else? You know, I don't really know.
Yeah.
But to me, if the percentage record is broken, and like just to put it out there, it's 90%, right? Set by the Houston
Right.
Comets in 1998. They
Right.
went 27-3. Uh, then I think it's a no-brainer. But again, I don't feel like I generally am on the same page as most WNBA awards voters, so I couldn't really tell you. Yeah.
Right. If it's 40, it has to be, because
It
that's
has to
just
be,
like, of
right? Yeah.
course, yeah, because no one went 40-0, obviously. So that would be a change even in this new 44 game format, and that would break the Comets record.
Right.
40, anything less than 40 would not be 90%. Not
Correct.
a math major, but I checked before this because I knew we'd be talking
35
about
to
it.
39 would break the wins record at least,
Right.
but not the percentage record. Yeah.
Right. So if it's in that range, and who knows, maybe the Valkyries are the 2 seed, and in that case, it gets even
Yeah.
Mercury.
It's a
Or it gets Mercury, Mercury-er if the Merc are the 2 seed or whatever. It's fascinating. So yeah, I just want to inject. Don't forget about the reigning coach of the year and a team
four-time coach of the year. Yeah.
Yeah, is just winning with and without its MVP candidate in there. So I know Fee's kind of like the runaway favorite right now. I don't know how many more games she can lose before we need to start having like a conversation about
Right.
it. But she's for sure an all-star starter. Like that's a given. I don't think another Lynx will join her in that top 10. And I'm even wondering, I imagine someone else on the team will get rewarded once the coaches and players are all voting, but I'm not totally sure who it is. So just kind of a question I've been thinking with, who has the best chance to join Fee in Indy that weekend?
My guess is it's K-Mac. People are kind of victims of inertia, and Kayla McBride is like the most consistent all-star on this team. So it just seems like it's easiest to reward her again. Courtney Williams' stats like kind of jumped to start the season, but like,
yeah,
right now, like K-Mac is scoring more than her. She's shooting a little better than her. Defensively, I think she offers more than Courtney Williams does. So that's where I would land. I'd be really surprised if there wasn't a second Lynx All-Star. I'm with you. I don't think it's going to be a starter, but yeah, I'd be really surprised if there wasn't at least a second on the reserves, and maybe even two if you like really just want to reward the winning.
For sure. And I feel like there was kind of a campaign earlier for Alana Smith, and her defense has still been great coming off of a second team all defensive season, but just the scoring hasn't quite been there in a way that you typically.
What's with the free throw shooting?
I don't know. I didn't really notice how bad it was until last game, where she shot 1 for 4 against the Sparks, and I was just like, oh man, it feels like Smith's really struggling with this. I guess I haven't checked. I'm guessing it's around 50%. And then I saw that it's like nice? 28, and I was like, holy shit, Lan, what is this? I'm not gonna ask her about it yet, because I feel like, I kind of want to just, observe this for a little bit longer. And I don't think, it's not necessarily a beneficial conversation to be like, what's the deal with your free throws? But I think it's worth paying attention to, and it's just like kind of weird. And
it's kind of weird.
She's hit some pretty timely threes, so she's doing fine. There's no reason to be worried about Land, but I kind of thought this might be a season for her to get her first All-Star nod, and I don't know if the scoring's been there enough to push her over that.
Yeah, what's interesting is like, I feel like if she were just scoring in double figures, it would be enough to clear a mental hurdle. And if she were hitting 50% of her free throws, she'd be scoring in double figures. So
Right.
Like
So
that's
it's
kind
easy.
of all that's getting
Yeah.
away.
How, like, to quote a Spark, how Kelsey Plum said, I smile because at the free throw line because free throws are free. So
Yeah.
it's free land.
Yeah.
Go get it. She's gonna shoot like 11 of 12 from the free throw line tonight. I just know it. So
The Mystics
hopefully.
do foul a lot, so it's
Oh, there you
possible.
go. Okay. Yeah. So this game could work out a number of different things. We should talk about the Commissioner's Cup because that is why we're here.
Mhm.
It's the only reason why we're just kidding. But
Clearly.
you mentioned before I started recording that you're not even a European soccer fan. I am. That's kind of why I'm like just kind of shake my head at people who are like, these in-season tournaments are just such obvious cash grabs and just like rolling their eyes at it. When like every other country in the world, professional sports have these concurrent in-season tournaments that have been around longer than the leagues themselves. I think
Right.
the longest running organized tournament in the United States is the US Open Cup, which is soccer, club soccer. That's 100 years older than Major League Soccer, and Major League Soccer wants to get rid of it because they're annoyed. And how do they keep making money off Messi? It's, whatever. The American sports fan mind has a hard time comprehending it, but I like it. I think they kind of showed the NBA how to do it.
Mhm.
And your colleague Ben Pickman brought that up earlier this season on the No Off Season podcast. So yeah, for we're talking about the NBA in season tournament, WNBA was doing it first and kind of, showed that path. But also the Commissioner's Cup not only gives the players a chance to grab another bag during the season, which we love to see, but also it kind of has been a harbinger for finals matchups.
Mhm.
And so far, no one's been able to repeat. So I ask you, how excited are you for this Commissioner's Cup finals matchup between the Minnesota Lynx and the Indiana Fever? And is the league so lucky to get a best of 7 series between the Lynx and Fever in the WNBA Finals this year?
Oh my. Well, it is the series that I predicted at the start of the season, which means nothing because my predictions are just lousy all the time. And the Fever have not been nearly as good as I thought they were going to be.
That's true.
But I do think that the league is lucky to at least get this one game showdown between the two of them because we love to have stakes whenever possible. I mean, as you mentioned, I don't really watch European soccer. That's mostly just a consequence of like having too many things to watch during the time that European soccer is on. But I like the idea that not everything revolves around if we didn't win the one championship at the end of the season, everything is a failure. Like there are other ways to measure success, and I'm glad that there is, a smaller trophy that accomplishes that over the course of the season. Uh, I guess what I'm curious for you is, do Lynx fans even want to win the Commissioner's Cup given what has happened to the last two Commissioner's Cup winners?
I would say yes.
Okay.
I think that because it's never, maybe they don't care. The next there's one more home game before the cup final. Maybe I'll just go around Target Center interviewing fans. One question: do you care? Do you want to? I think because it's Indiana and there's just so much attention. Obviously, we don't need to have that discussion right now because
why would there be so much attention?
We don't have 4 hours to unpack all that. If it was New York for sure too, because I think a lot of people have not been shy with the t-shirts and they've been wearing and signs they've been bringing to games that they probably would have called some of the plays in that game 5 differently. People are asked questions people have about this Commissioner's Cup range from what is the Commissioner's Cup final to, oh shit, is Kathy Engelbert going to be in the house? Are we going to get a chance to boo the commissioner for the first time since 2024? So there's all kinds of storylines with it. So yes, I think they do, because of what you sort of touched on earlier, that any win means excellence to a certain degree.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it's not going to be kind of like the sigh of relief, like, oh, like we avenged what we wanted to avenge from last year. But I do think they definitely want it. And I don't know if anyone's too mixed up in the, if we win this, then we'll lose that of it all.
Right.
Because people have won the Commissioner's Cup and then not gone on to win the finals. No one has won the Commissioner's Cup 2 years in a row.
Right.
And then not win the finals. They might, but they need to win this game first.
We just never know, yeah.
Lynx fans always want to win, and you want to win when you're playing against the Indiana Fever and Caitlin Clark. So I'd say the answer is a resounding yes. That was a convoluted way of spotting the affirmative.
Yeah, one thing that I also like about the Commissioner's Cup, and I realize that the WNBA has sort of gotten lucky in some respects in this, is that the teams that meet are like actually very good teams. It's not just a random like two teams that happen to catch fire. And part of that is because for 3 seasons, the WNBA Commissioners Cup, like the group stage, so to speak, was 10 games long, which sort of, decreased the randomness. But even the last 2 years, like I would argue that Minnesota and New York was, I mean, who would argue that they weren't the best 2 teams last year? And this year, you can obviously make an argument that Indiana is not the best team in the East, but considering the injuries that New York is going through, it might be the most interesting matchup we could get at this particular point of the season. And I'm also very excited that it's going to be at the Target Center, like an actual WNBA home arena, as opposed to whatever happened last year. So that'll be fun. And I hope that Lynx fans show out, like, and don't let Fever fans take over that building, as has happened on occasion. Yeah,
I've seen a lot of calls to Lynx fans to not sell their tickets. So it's the cup. They do need to buy the season ticket holders. You get a couple season ticket holders reached out to me and showed me the email that invites you to buy your own tickets to this game. So I'm sure there's plenty available on the third. I think they went on sale today or yesterday. So by the time this comes out on Thursday, maybe I'll have some more information about that and actually inform people. But I think there may be a little bit of a collective feeling of not wanting Indiana fans to show us up, because I do think there was a little bit of a response to that after the 2 games that they had here last year. But I don't know. It's hard. If you can move tickets for like 6-7 times what you paid for them, that's tempting. So I don't know. That's something we'll find out the day of, but those Iowa fans are not to be doubted. My ears are still buzzing from all of the games that I've had to cover where had Iowa fans just up into the packed behind the press area. So we'll see. There'll be a lot of Indiana jerseys, a lot of Minnesota jerseys, and a lot of Iowa jerseys in that crowd, I'm sure. But I'm excited about it. How do you think, assuming because the Fever played without Clark for a stretch, the Lynx are currently playing without Fee. I don't think there's too much of fear that Fee's injury is long term. It kind of sounds like it's just pain and wanting to be safe and smart. But let's say, and they're also the Fever playing without DeWanna Bonner, and they just haven't kind of quite looked like the full version of what they're hyped up to be. But say that we get a Commissioner's Cup final with both teams at full strength. How do you think this game will play out?
Well, I just don't really see how the Fever are going to defend the Lynx. They're a team that, like,
it's kind of a valid question in any Fever game.
Yeah. I mean, I look at the Fever's defensive ratings, and like basically, unless they're playing the Chicago Sky, it's a team that like surrenders a lot of offensive rebounds, which admittedly is not a Minnesota strength, so that might not, necessarily be a huge weakness. But they, foul a lot, and unless you're fouling Naismith, it's generally a problem, I would imagine. And they sort of like lose steam as the game goes on, whereas the Lynx are like the exact opposite, where they seemingly get stronger as the game goes on, especially on the road, which again, I'm sort of mixed as to whether this is going to turn out to be a road environment for the Fever.
The Fever shirts say every game is a home game.
Every game is a home game. Yeah.
I don't know if those shirts made it to San Francisco though.
Yeah, I think, the Minnesota bigs are about as well positioned as any in the league to like actually get out and defend Clark on the perimeter, which is going to make those, high screens a little bit less effective than they would be in, potentially some other matchups. I think if they could just rebound the ball well, like, and not give Indiana second chances, then they should be able to contain Indiana, provided you're not going to get like some blow up 3-point game, which again, totally a possibility. Like Indiana has the shooters. If they get going, like, then you have to reconsider some things. But to me, I just sort of come back to the defensive end for Indiana, where like they just haven't been disciplined enough in terms of, ending possessions after one shot, or, ending possessions without fouling, or everybody figuring out their assignments on a string. And you can't do that against Minnesota. They play too deep into the clock. Like, they will find the mistakes. So maybe it's a high scoring game and like Indiana eventually just hits enough shots, but I tend to think this is going to go the Lynx way.
Yeah. I think the Fever will need it to turn it into a bit of a barn burner if they want to have a shot. And even then,
Yeah.
Lynx are pretty good
Right.
three-point
You
shooting
think about
team
like the one
in their
game
own right.
the Lynx lost the season. I think the Storm ended up putting 94 in that game.
Yeah,
So that's like the formula. You want to put some points on the board, make the Lynx have to score, and they totally can. I don't see how this is going to work if it's like a low scoring game. That's not going to play into Indiana's favor.
for sure. Will it be pretty exciting? Briefly, can we please touch on the game that will be happening tomorrow from when you're listening to this, because this is a nice challenge for the Lynx. Lynx at Dream, who potential coach of the year, Carl Smesko, can cut into the chance of Cheryl Reeve breaking the win percentage record with a win on Friday. I'm not trying to look ahead because it's obviously a Lynx game to cover tonight as we're speaking on Tuesday, but I'm eager to see how they handle what the Dream have, and the two big lineup they can put out there with Griner and Bree Jones, even though hasn't been like what they're like leaning on right now, but it is a matchup possibility. I think this is the most interesting matchup for the Lynx this season, and they haven't played yet, so I can't wait to see this kind of coaching matchup between Reeve and Smesko. How do you feel this game could go for the Lynx? Like, in order for them to win, what do they need to do to deal with that pesky Atlanta team?
I mean, I'm totally with you. Like, this is the most interesting matchup for me this week too. I think about like how Minnesota fared against Dallas last year. Those giant front courts, right, with Tierra McCowan and Natasha Howard, and then Kalani Brown coming in too. And Atlanta's sort of the closest approximation of that, just in terms of how big their front court can get. Whether you're playing BG and Bree Jones together, or like even Naz Hillman with them, like they're just physical and they rebound the ball really well. And for all of the Lynx gifts, like they aren't just naturally as big as other teams, right? Like that's
Right.
that's the one weakness you might be able to throw out there. So I think with the Lynx, you're just going to want to limit the number of threes that Atlanta gets. Like, I know that they don't shoot the ball particularly well from 3-point range, but they do get up a high volume, and threes tend to create like weird rebounding patterns. So I think that's where Atlanta kind of kills you too. So defending the 3-point line is going to be really important. Then, God, like I know we've been talking about the big so much, but this is a big like Kayla McBride, Alicia Gray game, right? Like,
Yeah,
you gotta like neutralize that matchup in some way, because I think Alicia Gray is playing better than maybe any guard. I hate to use that characterization because I think of her as a wing, but like, we're voting for all-stars. Alicia Gray's guard. I think she's been playing as well as any guard in the league. And if she gets going in transition, she's good at, getting to the foul line. Really, like, you just got to be so careful with the ball. So, I think defending the 3-point line and then just trying to sort of neutralize Alicia Gray, because everybody else, like, is good on Atlanta. Don't get me wrong. Like, in terms of depth, I think the Dream are one of the teams that kind of rival the Lynx and how many good players you could just get on the floor at any time. I mean, you think about, they bring Hillman, Coffey, like Shatori Walker, Kimbrough, Maya Caldwell, like Tina Pow's playing awesome off the bench too. There's just a lot of options for them to go to if like plan A isn't working. But I think keeping Gray out of transition and then just trying to defend the 3-point line are probably the two things that come to mind for me the most.
For sure. We have positionless basketball, but we do not have positionless basketball all-star voting.
No, we do not.
So we do have to classify Alicia Gray as a guard. Alicia Gray, Kayla McBride, you mentioned, that's a rematch of last year's 3-point contest as well. Not the final, but they were both in it. So
sure. Okay.
I was stuck at LAX on my way to Phoenix watching that take place. It's fun to cover an event you're supposed to cover in person from whatever random airport bar that that had it on. Anyway, that's not relevant, but will be a very exciting game in Atlanta. Very exciting Commissioner's Cup final. I'm sure we'll talk about it once it happens to recap another fantastic Commissioner's Cup. Sabreena, thank you so much for joining today. Where can all Lynx fans find you and find your work?
Yeah, thank you so much for having me and for talking Commissioner's Cup. And now I'm really excited about Lynx fans booing the commissioner when she arrives at the Target Center. I had not even considered that yet, but now it's on.
I'm still not convinced she's there, even though
the cup has her name on it.
It's her cup.
Yeah.
I think she can find a way to not come. So we'll that's a storyline I will be paying as close attention to as possible, because I only cover the most important stuff. Does Kathy Engelbert show? So
I mean, it's a great question. And, you know, for anyone who's listening to this who is not repulsed by the fact that I root for the Sparks, you can read me at The Athletic. And as Terry mentioned, we have a twice a week podcast called No Off Season that runs on Tuesdays and Fridays, which you can find YouTube or anywhere you listen to podcasts.
For sure. And next time we have you on, we'll just adjudicate every one of the final plays of the 2016 WNBA Finals as a special. And
as long as we go through game 4 too. Okay.
Right. That's fair.
Yeah.
And then every Lynx fan will for sure love you after that conversation, I'm sure.
Sounds like a plan.
Sabreena, you're the best. Thanks so much for taking some time. Thank you again to Sabreena Merchant for joining me on this episode of Lynx Happy Hour. Thank you to Sylvia Fowles, the Hall of Famer, of course. Shout out once again to Danielle Lund, Carly Knox, everyone who is such a help on the Lynx business side and communication side of things. You guys are the best in the business, and we're so lucky to work with you. Shout out Mitchell Hansen and Hitting the Hardwood Podcast Network. Thank you always, of course, to Pence Homes, but most importantly, thank you to you, listener, Lynx fan, WNBA fan. You're the reason we're here and the reason we do this. Thank you so much for listening to the show. I hope you take some time to make sure you're subscribed, like it, give it 5 stars wherever you get your podcasts, and share the show with a friend. Hit up your basketball loving buddy right now and be like, hey, check out this podcast. Have a real conversation about it. Doing that is better than AI in these times. So appreciate the love. Enjoy the weekend. Hope you have fun watching the Lynx wherever you watch them on Friday against the Dream in Atlanta. Have a very, very fun Pride weekend. And I hope you end your Pride weekend at Target Center for the Lynx Sun game. If you see me, come say what up. I appreciate that. And yeah, we'll see you again next week for Lynx Happy Hour, where Lynx basketball is always on special. Have a great weekend, everybody. Peace.